All right, guys. Hey, today we're going to talk about a fragrance from the house of Maison Francis Kirkjohn. Many of you refer to it as MFK. And this is one that I think is in the vein of one of the most popular fragrances in MFK, which is Oud Satin Mood. That grown and sexy, oudy, rosy, powdery goodness. But this is like the fresher cousin, and we're going to talk about it today. Strap up. All right. Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening. Okay, let's get straight into it. As you guys know, I recently went on a terror spree at Neiman Marcus, and my goal in going in there was to complete kind of my, I'm always buying samples and I order them straight to my house and I smell a lot of stuff. So this was my chance to go into, and I went through everything. Chanel, Tom Ford, Parfums de Marly, MFK, Bond Number 9, Creed. I just Mind Games. I mean, I went through everything I could possibly find and filled in the holes of fragrances that I've tried all the popular ones from the suite in terms of acquiring my clone and inspired collection, so I always knew what the original smelled like and things like that. But when it came to nuance fragrances in the house that are, not as equally popular but still popular, I haven't got a chance to put my nose on a lot of those, which is why you don't see them across the channel, especially clones, because I'm not going to talk about a clone if I have not smelled the original. That's just like 98% of everything I've showed you. I have the original or have had the original at some point. So I have a test strip here because mainly the only thing I didn't know about this fragrance was performance. And that is, of course, Oud Satin Mood. Okay. This is a good fragrance. Let me say that first and foremost. Now, for those of you who don't know, I think there's 3 different variations of this. There's Oud Satin Mood. So let me see. MFK Oud. Oh, I have to type Maison Francis Kirkjohn. Let's just look real quick here. This is going to be a little bit of a hodgepodge episode. But I saw 2 fragrances that were kind of in the realm. There was Oud Satin Mood, Oud Silk Mood. And then there was one more that, let's see, Maison Francis Kirkjohn, I don't know, fragrances. Let's just look through the line, because I want to figure out in my mind what was the other one that I had my eye on that was in the realm of this. Where are the listings? Details. Yeah, this isn't it. I'm not going to spend too much time on this if I can't find it. Oud Silk Mood, Oud Satin Mood. What was the other one? Okay. I'm starting to get frustrated. This is why you prepare beforehand. Okay. Anyway, there was another fragrance in the realm of this. It might have just been a pure oud fragrance or something like that that I had my eyes on. But so today we're going to smell Oud Silk Mood. I apologize for wasting so much time. You guys know me. I'm a lot more prepared than that. But anyways, so we talked about the fact that Oud Satin Mood is kind of this like silky, jammy, powdery, dense rose and oud fragrance. And you do get a little bit of the nuance if you kind of squint your eyes and pay attention. But for the most part, it's this jammy, multifaceted rose. I think they have multiple roses in that composition. Powdery, jammy, heavy, dense, seductive, silky, oud and rose fragrance. And it's one of those rose fragrances where it's a man's fragrance. You have to be very confident, very secure in your skin. Otherwise, you're just going to feel like it comes off like a very either seductive or mature older woman fragrance. It's a very, again, you guys hear me on my fragrance channel talk about this a lot. fragrances like these are in the realm of like, you know, the man who wears the khaki or gray or more pastel toned suits and stuff like that. You know, it's softer. It's still masculine and pronounced, but there's some soft touch in there. In this case, rose, that just totally softens it up and gives it some kind of feminine familiarity, like in terms of DNAs that they might enjoy. But that oud just makes it's just very unique. It's a scent unlike anything you will ever try. If you're used to messing with clones, then probably the closest thing you'll ever get to just even in the arena of what we're talking about here is probably Boreal Oud Amethyst. Or obviously Oud Satin from Ministry of Oud, because they make a 1-to-1 clone as well. That one's spot on. Amethyst is just kind of in the realm of rose and heavy rose fragrances. It's not for the lighthearted. It's certainly for a very manly man who's comfortable in his skin and just wants to show a little bit of a different dimension. But in the same way that you have Dior Homme Intense and then Dior Homme Parfum, which is like a more softer, fresher take on the Dior Homme Intense DNA. Silk Mood is a slightly softer, more masculine, fresher take on the Rose Oud combo. And as you guys can see right here, it is similar. You know, we have Bulgarian Rose. The nuance here is the chamomile, bergamot, hedioin, and possibly the papyrus. But you don't really have to look too much into this. It's got the Gaiac wood, rose, and agarwood oud. This is a fresh oud. This isn't a funky oud. This is a very, let me say, it's a rich man smelling oud. Almost like, okay, here's a great picture. If you guys are familiar with Initio's Oud for Greatness or Boreal Oud's Oud for Glory, that kind of Great Gatsby oud plush kind of cashmere, I don't know, vibe, that dark, seductive man, who is that guy, smell. It's almost as if you took 10% of Oud for Greatness or Oud for Glory and you splashed it on Oud Satin Mood and you took away the creamy powdery from it and made it more fresh floral. It's very close, but that freshness and that oud style completely takes a different angle to it. Again, when you smell Dior Homme Parfum, it is not like Dior Homme Intense, but it definitely is in the arena of close cousins territory. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a familiarity, but they are two completely different fragrances. You know, so much so that somebody who likes DHI, I would never recommend them DHP just off the bat, like, because there's such different compositions, you know, they kind of, I rarely run into people who have both of those fragrances. They lean towards one or the other. If the silky, creamy, warm, like heavy fragrance is not for most people, that lipstick touch, they lean on the fresher Dior Homme Parfum, or even go even further down and go Dior Homme Cologne or Dior Homme Sport or stuff like that. But I feel like for people who would question Oud Satin Mood, Oud Silk Mood is a beautiful alternative that gets you in that realm, but kind of leans more on the oud, the fresh kind of herbal floral oud combo, and less on the rose. Rose is about a 30-40% accent. It's still very much there, but it's not the leading role. And because oud is such a pronounced note, it really carries the rose behind it so that the rose doesn't just become the star of the show. And I think because of that, you get these nice, cool little mysterious facets of like slight duffed out spicy, green, almost citrus sometimes, even like a bit of herbal. But it's mostly woody, dark, mysterious type of vibe. I think this is a seductive, man. Let's just go to the usual suspects here. A fragrance like this cannot be worn by somebody under like 25. I'm going 26 and up with a fragrance like this. I don't think it has to be suit and tie, but it can't be casual. This is date night. This is nightlife. This is semi-formal social gathering type vibes. I don't care if it's in the name of some kind of formal event, you know what I'm saying? Like a theater or a ceremony or, you know, just something outside of date night. And I don't think this is a clubbing fragrance at all either. This feels mostly suited for a slightly playful, dark and mysterious, slightly sweet, edgy, but soft-edged man in a tux or in a suit. Date night for sure, but expensive date night, absolutely. Or this could just be a dark, mysterious bachelor, you know, single guy out and about hitting the streets. But I think this is night vibes. I don't see this being worn in the day. It does say for men and women, but I think I'm trying to smell this on a woman. And though I think you got to really fit the part as a woman to enjoy this, I think a woman would enjoy Oud Satin Mood better. Satin Mood, not Silk Mood. But Silk Mood has a seriousness to it that contrasts the playfulness of the rose that just feels more appropriate on a man. You know, James Bond, Leonardo DiCaprio and the Gatsby, a pilot. I mean, it just, I don't know. It's just got this Knight Rider vibe to it. It's really nice. It's not blind buy worthy, but they say it's a unisex fragrance. So tread with caution and sample it. Absolutely. Find a Neiman Marcus like I did or get a sample of it. But I do think if Oud Satin Mood was too strong for you, give this a shot. Cause this is like a great alternative to it. If you don't like a super heavy fragrance, cause this is potent. But I feel like Oud Satin Mood is beast mode and borderline nuclear, whereas this is more like a 6 or a 7, in the same way that DHP is not quite DHI. Really nice, though. Beautiful fragrance. It has seduction, it has mystery, and it has absolute pure masterclass classiness and sophistication. This is champagne. This is expensiveness. This is romance. This is, you know, all that good stuff. I told you the age. Sprays on this, I wouldn't go more than like 4 or 5. 4 or 5 is, you don't go over 5 with this. You know, it's not beast mode, but you can make it beast mode. Okay, I'm gonna stop touching this. I'm very actually impressed by what this provides in the space, given that I absolutely love Oud Satin Mood. By the way, I tried Portrait of a Lady finally. I mean, they had Frederick Malle in there on tap. It was just insane. And I've been wanting to put my nose on Portrait of a Lady forever, even like the Vetiver Extraordinaire or whatever. A lot. I mean, they had everything out. It was crazy. But yeah, I'm really glad I finally got to try Silk Mood, because Silk Mood, I think, has a little more utility than Oud Satin Mood. It's just, it has something going on. And I think there's a champagne-ness and an elegance to this that Oud for Greatness doesn't quite capture for me. That I think over Oud for Greatness and Oud Silk Mood, you know, Initio versus MFK here, I think Oud Silk Mood takes the cake for me. I don't know. They're both super appropriate. Like, I'd buy bottles of both of them, but I'm just impressed with what this provided. So yeah, I think I answered everything for you guys. Let me know if you've tried this fragrance, guys. It's not talked about a lot. You know, I think a lot of the reason why is because so many people do top 10s, 5s, 20s, and all that. No one really cares to mention this fragrance because they're just going to touch on all the popular fragrances. But this was pretty popular in there. I was actually surprised, you know, in the Neiman Marcus, where money is flowing and people have chances to try everything. And so I was quite impressed. It was good to not just be putting my nose on, you know, Grand Soir, Oud Satin Mood, Fluidity, Amorous, you know, all that stuff. So this was Maison Francis Kirkjohn's Paris Oud Silk Mood. And let's just get one more look at this sexy bottle. I mean, this like navy pastel and gold. I mean, sitting on the shelf, that is absolutely fantastic. Lucky Sense retail on it is $3.15 for a 70 ml. What's the cheapest you can get something like this? $2.59 for the 70. Yeah, guys, you're going to spend a pretty penny on this. I don't know of an Oud Silk Mood clone, but what I can tell you is it's in the wheelhouse of Noir de Noir from Tom Ford. So the alternative that isn't quite there, it's more spicier, it's more spice bomby, but it has the same vibe. And we'll talk about a top 10 in terms of vibe. I'll tell you, like, if you like this, you'll like that. But you can get kind of close with Club de Nuit Intense Woman. You can get in the wheelhouse of this fragrance. It's less oudy, obviously, but it still has the kind of vibe and the darkness and the seduction and the freshness. And then obviously Oud for Greatness, or cheaper Oud for Glory, is in the wheelhouse of it as well, but it doesn't have rose. What would be interesting is to try maybe the tiniest spray of Amyris over Oud for Glory. So like, let's say I did 3 sprays, two front, 1 back of Oud for Glory. Then I put just some Amyris in the middle. You might get close, but or Amethyst, sorry. But Amethyst is too jammy. This is a fresh rose, man. I really struggled to find a fragrance that appropriately clones this, and we probably won't see one for a while since it isn't as popular. But nonetheless, this is money well spent to me, guys, if you buy this fragrance. And if I find any alternatives in the future, I'll be sure to drop those for you. Again, this was Oud Silk Mood, and I hope you guys do have a blessed week. Let me know in the comments if you've tried this one. I'm really interested to see people's feedback on if you like it, and if so, where could you see someone wearing a fragrance like this? Because a lot of times when I say James Bond or Great Gatsby or Pilot or Knight Rider, people don't really... I'm trying to give you guys pictures to take your nose somewhere, but I know depending on your age, you might not get my references. But anyways, hope you guys have a blessed week. Until next time, this is the Scent Bubble, signing off.